Hello and welcome to The Entrant. The topic for today's discussion is the definition of state as given in Article 12 of the Constitution. This topic holds great importance when it comes to questions asked in competitive exams. Before delving into the subject matter, let us understand why we need to study the definition itself. The term state has been given a wide ambit in the application of fundamental rights. The need to define the term state arose from two facts. One, that Part 3 of the Constitution deals with fundamental rights, as these rights are a guarantee against state action as distinguished from violation of rights from private parties. Hence, the definition in Article 12 is only for the purpose of application of the provisions contained in Part 3. Second, the purpose behind having our fundamental rights rests in the need for having a just society, that is, a nation ruled by law. Therefore, to safeguard these rights and freedoms of individuals and minimize the risk of abuse of power, there needs to be constitutional protection from the acts of the state itself. That is why it is imperative to explore the definition of state. Moving on, let's look at the overview of the definition. The definition can be divided into four parts. 1. The Government and the Parliament of India, that is, the executive and the legislature of the Union. 2. The Government and the legislature of each state, that is, the executive and legislature of each of the states. Third, all local and other authorities within the territory of India. 4. All local and other authorities under the control of the Government of India. The term state thus includes executive as well as legislative organs of the state and the union. It is therefore the actions of these bodies that can be challenged before the courts as violating fundamental rights. In the case of Som Prakash versus Union of India 1981, the Supreme Court gave considerations as for pronouncing an entity as a state agency or instrumentality. It was held that when the body is financially, functionally, and administratively dominated by or under the control of the government, and such control is particular to the body and is pervasive, then it will be state within the meaning of Article 12. Delving deeper into the definition, the first two categories include the legislative and the executive wings of the union and the state in all their possible varieties. They are quite specific and self-explanatory. The latter two categories, particularly the last, are not so specific and require some explanation. The first of those categories is authorities. In the context of Article 12, the term authority means the power to make laws, orders, regulations, bylaws, notifications, etc., which have the force of law and the power to enforce those laws. The second of those categories is local authorities. Local authorities, as defined in Section 3, subsection 31 of the General Clauses Act, refers to authorities like municipalities, district boards, panchayats, improvement trust, and mining settlement boards. To make this a little clearer, there is a case law, that is Muhammad Yasin versus Town Area Committee, 1952 Supreme Court. The Supreme Court in this held that the bylaws of a municipal committee charging a prescribed fee on the wholesale dealer was an order by a state authority and contravened Article 19(1)(g). The third category is of other authorities. What are these other authorities? It refers to authorities other than those of local self-government who have the power to make laws, rules, regulations, etc. and have the force of law. There are two interpretations of this category. Some high courts held that since the expression other authorities is used after mentioning a few of them, namely the Government and Parliament of India, the government and the legislature of each of the states, and local authorities, it would be reasonable to construe this expression ejusdem generis or of like nature with government or legislature. Therefore, it could only mean authorities exercising governmental or sovereign powers and functions. This came to be known as the restricted interpretation, where government, Parliament of India, the government and legislature of each of the states and all local authorities were only taken into consideration. Here is a case from Madras High Court that elucidates this interpretation. University of Madras versus Santabai 1954. The court held that the authorities could only indicate authorities of a like nature, so construed which could only mean authorities exercising governmental or sovereign functions. It could not include persons, natural or juristic, such as a university, unless maintained by the state. However, this was rejected by the Supreme Court. It held that the doctrine of ejusdem generis, or like nature, is inapplicable to the interpretation of the expression other authorities. To invoke the application of ejusdem generis rule, the court said there must be a distinct genus or category running through the bodies already named. In Article 12, no common genus exists in the named bodies, nor can these bodies be placed in a single category or any rational basis. And a more liberal interpretation came to be in Ujjambai versus State of UP 1962 Supreme Court, where the court rejected this restrictive interpretation of the other authorities given by the Madras High Court and held that the ejusdem generis rule could not be resorted to interpreting this expression. Another case law which supports this liberal interpretation is Electricity Board Rajasthan versus Mohanlal. The Supreme Court held that the expression other authorities is wide enough to include all authorities created by the Constitution or statute on whom powers are conferred by law. The fourth category of authority under the control of Government of India is there to bring into the definition of state all areas outside Indian territory which are under or may come under the control of the Government of India, such as mandatory or trustee territories. Such a territory may come under the control of India by international agreement. Thus, even such areas will be subject to Part 3, and the inhabitants of such areas may also claim the benefit of fundamental rights guaranteed in Part 3. In the case of R.D. Shetty versus International Airport Authority 1979, the Supreme Court laid down 5 tests to be considered under the definition of other authorities. The first being whether the financial resources of the state is the chief funding source. That is, the entire share capital of the corporation is held by the government or not. Second, whether the existence of deep and pervasive state control is there or not. Third, functional character being the governmental in essence, that is, the function of the corporation are of public importance and closely related to governmental functions. Fourth, a department of government is transferred to a corporation. And fifth, whether the corporation enjoys monopoly status, which is state conferred or state protected. However, the court held these tests are not conclusive but illustrative only and would have to be used with care and caution. Moving on, there are 2 questions that are very important to this definition. These are whether the BCCI is a state or not. The Supreme Court, by a majority judgment, held that the Board of Control for Cricket in India, or the BCCI, is not a state or authority. It was held that merely because a non-governmental body exercises some public duty, that by itself would not suffice to make such a body a state for the purpose of Article 12. Honorable Supreme Court held that the state is today distancing itself from commercial activities and concentrating of governance rather than business. Situation prevailing at the time when was decided is not in existence and there is no need to further expand the scope of other authorities. The other very important question that comes under this definition is whether the judiciary is included in the word state or not. The definition of state under Article 12 of the Constitution does not explicitly mention the judiciary. Hence, a significant amount of controversy surrounds its status in the Part 3 of the Constitution. Bringing the judiciary within the scope of Article 12 would mean that it is deemed capable of acting in contravention of fundamental rights. It is well established that in its non-judicial functions, the judiciary does come under the meaning of the state. However, challenging a judicial decision which has achieved finality under the rich jurisdiction of a superior court on the basis of violation of fundamental rights remains open to debate. But in the view of the 7-judge bench of the Supreme Court in A.R. Antule versus R.S. Nayak, 1988, it has been held that the court cannot pass an order or issue a direction which would be violative of fundamental rights of citizens. It can be said that the expression state as defined in Article 12 of the Constitution includes judiciary also. With this, we have gained an all-over understanding of the definition of state.